What's going on, guys? My name is Orphid. I hope you all are having an awesome day. As of the date of recording this, it is January 1st, 2019. So for those of you who are into your festivities and such, Happy New Year to you all. Hopefully this is a prosperous year and it's filled with a ton of ass eating. The topic of today's video is going to be a recap of the games I got a chance to experience in 2018, and it's going to be a year-in video, if you will. So the first game we're going to start this video off with is Monster Hunter World. Oh, shit! Monster Hunter World is the first game in this series that I got a chance to play and experience. The first few came out on PlayStation 2, if I'm not mistaken, and the rest of them were all released on like handheld, like PSP, DS, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know what it would be like to play a Monster Hunter game on DS. That's weird. But yeah, the game is really cool. It's a game about you, a monster hunter, who goes to these, new and uncharted worlds, and you find these species of monsters and such, and you kill them, and you make shit out of them. That's a wonderful game premise. The game offers a lot of customization. The monsters that you hunt, they give you parts that you get to use to make armor, weapons, items, all of that jazz. So it's a really good RPG game if you love customization, because boy, is there a lot of customization here. The encounters and general flow of the gameplay goes like this. You track a monster, you find them, you smell shit, you smell footprints, and you smell mucus. Yeah, it sounds like a fun job being a monster hunter. You find the monster, beat him up, you be a big bully to the monster, and you carve his parts out. The game is multiplayer. You get to play with up to 4 people. It's a really fun game. Me and my roommate, we tried it out at the same time early this year when it first came out, and we have been big fans ever since. I have around 300 hours of playtime on the game, which is a lot. That's a fuck ton of hours. So I really enjoy it. It's an awesome game. Next game on this list, Attack on Titan 2. So, if you guys have seen the Attack on Titan anime, that shit it's hype. Shit is cool. What's not to love about gigantic fucking genitalialess humanoids that eat people? I don't know. You tell me. You find something better. The game is really cool because it takes a lot of the themes from the show and incorporates them into an actual gameplay experience. Like if you watch the anime, tell me you would not want to use one of those 3D maneuver gears. That shit looks so sick. Like you're Spider-Man, but from the hips. I don't know how that works, but it works. So the gameplay is actually able to capture that feeling, I'd say pretty well. You fly around with the maneuver gear, going at, fucking hyper speed, you're slicing these titans up, and it's just, it's thrilling. Thrilling is definitely the word I would use. It's a really fun game too. The story pretty much is a recap of what happens in anime. So if you haven't actually watched the anime, if you're not a degenerate and you don't watch anime, it's a good way to understand the story, because the game does a good job of covering all of the main events and such. This game also offers a create a character system, and it lets you create your own character. You get to experience the story as if, you were placed directly into the anime, and you get the chance to see all of the side characters like Eren, Mikasa, Armin, all that jazz. And in the actual game, you get to talk to them, and you get to, do these missions with them, and you get to do that world building as if you were a part of the Attack on Titan world, which is really cool. I enjoyed that aspect of the game. So the next game we're going to talk about is Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 is another mainland game in the Far Cry series, of course, which drops you, the player, into this big open world setting, and it's essentially a playground for you. What the game offers is just chaos, on top of chaos, on top of chaos. The setting for this game is Montana, more like rural Montana. It's the first game in the series to have a United States location be the setting. The first two, I'm not sure where the first one took place. The second one took place in Africa. The third one took place on Rook Island, which I'm not sure what that was supposed to be like a mock of. But the fourth one, I know was the Himalayas for sure. I can't be wrong about that. The story of this game involves you, a new deputy, being sent in to deal with this doomsday cult called the Children of Eden. And the leader of the cult is Joseph Seed, and he's accompanied by his siblings. 2 brothers, 1 sister. Got it? Good. Basically, these guys are predicting the end of the world, so to speak, and they're doing all types of cult things. You know, we don't like cult things, so we gotta go in there, we gotta shut that shit down. The gameplay and all of the open world mechanics are similar to the other Far Cry games. It's chaos, right? In most games, the mission is usually as straightforward as go here, kill these guys, or collect this thing, or just something of that nature. In these Far Cry games, you never know what's going to happen, right? You could see an outpost, you could get ready to liberate it, if you will, you know, kill all of the baddies, free any prisoners they got locked up, etc. And as you're scoping the encampment out, a bear could just come out of nowhere and just start like fucking wreaking havoc, or, you know, a cougar, a mountain lion, whatever the case is. And that variety always makes the gameplay interesting, whether you're doing missions, whether you're out in the open world, whatever the case is. It's always a fun time. Like, it's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. So the next game we're gonna talk about is God of War.
Boy.
This game was my first big, highly anticipated game of this year. I'm a huge fan of the God of War series. I'm not going to say all the ones before. I played the mainland ones. I played God of War 1, played God of War 2. I did not play the PSP ones, Chains of Olympus, and the other one. I also didn't play Ascension. That shit, I was like, this ain't my God of War. This ain't mine, dog. So this game I was looking forward to heavily, right? Like the new setting, the new gameplay direction, it all looked really fucking cool. It was a big change of pace for the series. A lot of people weren't too sure how it was going to turn out. Guys, I never lost my confidence. I always trusted in you, Sony. Cory Barlog, I was always there, I believed. So this game, the new setting was the Norse realm, right? The Norse mythology was a much needed change of pace for this game. Don't get me wrong. Greek mythology is fucking awesome, right? It's sick. Gods in general, all these pantheons of gods and these powerful figures, it's cool as hell. But what do you do when Kratos has killed every single Greek god? You need new gods to kill, of course. So the new setting and theme was sick, right? Odin, Thor, Loki, these are all a lot of cool figures as well. So I was highly excited to see what they were going to do with this game. And let's just say they did not disappoint. The combat system was changed up in this game from being this full-on hack and slash, button mashing, square fucking shit, whatever that was, to an over-the-shoulder perspective, and you actually had Kratos' son Atreus there to help you with combat as well. This one had more of a combo system that was actually effective if you used it properly. The new skills and abilities they offered were really cool as well. The Rage of the Gods mode, in this case, just Spartan Rage, returned as well. It was implemented properly. I think so, at least. And the combat, just in general, was satisfying. It was always fun. I never got bored of it. Just trying to remember all the combos in the game, using them, situationally. That's what really brought this new combat system out. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So, I'm not going to spoil anything, just in case you're watching this video and you haven't played God of War yet. If that's the case, what the fuck are you doing? Go play God of War. Get off the video right now. But what I will say is expect the scale of the story in the next game to be just way bigger than this. Just unbelievable. I'll leave you with one word. Thor. That's all you get. So the next game I'm going to talk about is Detroit Become Human.
Wake up, Lieutenant.
Now this game, another pretty big game I was looking forward to. I'm a big fan of Quantic Dream. A lot of people don't really like their games because they say they're not games. They're just movies, interactive movies. And to that I say, hush. Hush, child. Go play outside. Go play Minecraft. These games are awesome because they're narrative driven, right? They're story focused. And if you are able to leave me with an experience that I can remember when I put the controller down and I'm done playing, you did your job as far as I'm concerned. So they are games. Stop with that they're not game shit. Stop it. So the theme of this game involves androids, super artificial intelligence, to the point where they're capable of, thoughts and feelings on their own. They're sentient. They're not just subservient pieces of machinery. And this game centered on what happens if, artificial intelligence got to the point where they rivaled humans. They wanted their own individuality, right? Like, think about that right now. If your microwave all of a sudden became sentient and said, you know what? I'm tired of you putting this fucking 2-day-old lasagna inside of me. I want to go somewhere else. What would you say to that? You'd be like, wait, that's a microwave. I bought this. You're mine. It's not happening. Let me put this lasagna in you. And that's a cool concept because, how do you deal with that when you're used to essentially anything other than human just being a thing, right? Like, you don't really give it that much consideration. And it actually, I think it's a really good premise to have, what if you created an artificial intelligence and it just one day decided, I want to be my own entity. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be told what to do. And I thought the game handled it pretty well. There's obviously some moments where it could have articulated better. It's not a perfect game by any means, but I think it did its job. I think it accomplished what it was trying to go for. Some of the characters you get to play as in the game, Connor, he's one of the high-end androids. He was specifically designed to locate deviants, and in this game, that's exactly what a deviant is. It's a rogue android. It's one that essentially disobeyed its code and decided, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. I got this. There's Kara, which was a deviant android that follows the story of her and this little girl who she rescued from an abusive household. And that, again, that's compelling as well for reasons I'm going to get into later. And the final one is Marcus, who's basically this prophet android, right? Like, he's the chosen one, basically. Think of Moses or some shit. He's going to lead people to the promised land. And it's a very good game. The voice acting was well done. The motion capture was well done. Just the story, it was fairly well written. If you haven't played the game, highly, highly recommend it. I'm pretty sure you can find it on sale or something. It can't be that expensive. And the gameplay is, like I said, most people, they call it a movie. It's very cinematic, of course, and there isn't too much on the player's end as far as button inputs and such, but I think the gameplay is enjoyable, right? Like, it gives you choices to make. That's the whole drive of these games, is they let you choose. They let you get to kind of dictate how the story plays out. And this game has a lot of story choices. You can see a completely different ending from what the next person played. And in this case, I think that's true. Like, that's actually the case. Some games, they tout that as a feature, and for the most part, it doesn't really matter what you choose. But this game, I think it actually delivers on that aspect of the game. The emotional value was extremely high for the storytelling in this game. I'm going to go out and say it, right? This game actually made me cry. I kid you not. One of the moments in this game, after the scene played out, I put my controller down and I had to shed a few man tears, right? Gamers rise up because that was something that needs to be done. I needed to. It was heartfelt. It truly was. Just like any other piece of cinema you ever listened to, a song that just touched you in a way, pause, a movie, anything like that. It did the exact same thing. The game actually got a legit emotional reaction out of me, and I commend it. Most games can't do that. I don't even remember the last time I cried at anything, because I'm a gamer. We don't cry. But this was special. This was very special. So once again, I recommend you go play this game if you haven't. The next game on this list is Spider-Man. Now, what can I say about Spider-Man? The game was incredible. The game was absolutely incredible. I'm not a gigantic Spider-Man fan, but I enjoyed a web-swinging creepy crawler, and this game was enjoyable indeed. The setting, of course, if you're a Spider-Man fan, New York City. They do a really good job at recreating New York. I don't live in New York, so I don't know what New York looks like, but I imagine this is what it looks like, just a severe dip in Tim's and Jesus pieces and New York hats. Um, but the world looks really good. It's fairly fleshed out. It has a lot of side content for you, a lot of little collectibles. One of my favorite parts of the game was actually the backpacks as a collectible. I actually collected all of them like way before the game ended because I was fascinated by all the little tidbits of information they put in with all of the items, giving you even more backstory for Peter Parker. Because as this game takes place, Spider-Man Peter Parker has been Spider-Man for 8 years now. So it's not an origin story, which most of the people that make Spider-Man media are so fucking focused on telling an origin story. Like we don't know who Peter Parker is or how he became Spider-Man. Stop that shit. This one, he's been Spider-Man for 8 years. So he's experienced. It's more about his life and that, balancing that duality of being, everyday Peter Parker, his relationship with Mary Jane, his relationship with his aunt, because as you know, his uncle he's gone, and being Spider-Man. So this game does a really good job at just showing you the Peter Parker side of things. The gameplay in this game is really good. It's Arkham-esque, it's akin to Batman Arkham as far as the combos and pulling off the specials once you've achieved a certain combo multiplier. There's gadgets. That was the big differentiating gameplay mechanic. The gadgets that Spider-Man uses. They were really fun. All of them were fairly useful. My favorite was the impact web and the stun webs because CCOP. But the gadgets were really good. The gameplay was really good. Overall, like I said, if you're a Spider-Man fan, this game probably made you rock hard because it made me rock hard, and I'm not a Spider-Man fan, but I am now. And Miles Morales. Spoiler for the second one. I believe we are gonna get to see 2 Spider-Mans in the next game, which would be sick. Insomniac, make it happen, please. The next game on this list is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So Assassin's Creed, boy, where do I begin with Assassin's Creed? I stopped playing the games after Assassin's Creed 3 came out. Assassin's Creed 4 was actually well received. I didn't play it though. I played a little bit of it, right? Okay, I'm going to be honest. I played a little bit of it. It was alright, but it wasn't enough of a change outside of the sea battle mechanics for it to keep my interest. I didn't really care to play it. Up until 3, I was a huge fan. Bought all of the games as soon as they were released. I enjoyed them. Ezio was an awesome protagonist. We can't rave about Ezio enough, right? But I did not care for the games anymore. I played Origins when that came out. It was a change of pace that I believe was needed. And I got, I'd say, a little past midway through the game. But I never finished that either. Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out, and my roommate bought the game. I decided to actually give it a fair shake. I was like, alright, this one looks good enough. We're going to try to play it. And they did it. This game was the change I believe Assassin's Creed needed. Reinvigoration. 100% is I believe what they were thinking when they made this game. If you play this game and you've played any of the older ones, you can tell right away that they are not the same game. I would say at all. This game is massive. Extremely massive. I have 40 hours on my playthrough right now. I'm not finished with the game, but I have 40 hours. And there's still so much more to go. Like, the game is just filled with content. So if you're one of those guys that, wants every penny out of your experience, this game is going to do it for you. So the setting and story. This game takes place in ancient Greece, back, around a time when Socrates was alive and all of those guys. I'm not going to go into names. I can't pronounce those guys' names for shit. But this is ancient Greece. Ancient Greece is an incredible setting. The best part about it was obviously being able to interact with King Leonidas and you being a descendant of his. So you get to use all of those, mythological powers and shit. And you get to Spartan kick people. I think that's probably the biggest selling point of the game is Spartan kicking people. And the open world is massive. As I said, there's a lot to do. Content aplenty. You would not get bored there. I believe it was a true return to form, and any game they make after this, I truly believe should follow this same gameplay loop. This is how the rest of the games need to be, because the older format was just too stale, man. And this new format it's exciting. You know, I wouldn't put 40 hours into this game if I didn't think it was worth it. So Ubisoft, as long as you continue making good Assassin's Creed games like this, you got me back, man. It worked. Thank you. So the final game on this list is none other than Red Dead Redemption 2.
What are we doing next, dude? Money.
What can I say about this game that hasn't already been said? So the setting of this game is 1899 America, the Wild Wild West. And the story is centered around Arthur Morgan. Now, the first Red Dead game, the main protagonist was John Marston and his quest for redemption. Pretty much that's the same thing going on in this game, just with a new protagonist. But there is enough variation there with Arthur's character and the way he interacts with the gang that separates it and, you know, gives him his own unique story, even though they're both about redemption. I gotta say, after playing this game through to completion, Arthur Morgan is now my favorite Rockstar character, like, just completely. It was John before this. John was a badass. I mean, what don't you like about cowboys and assless chaps? But Arthur, he takes the cake, man. The guy that voiced Arthur Morgan, good job, incredible job. He was a really good character, and I enjoyed every second I got a chance to play with him. Now, the story of this game is centered around the gang. You know, you heard about the gang members in the first Red Dead game, but this game actually lets you play in that setting where you were all together. And it's essentially a tale of, you know, how the gang fell apart. You know, what was happening, what led up to all these events that you followed in Red Dead Redemption, the first game. So the gameplay and world interactions of this game are just, I want to say, top notch, man. The immersive aspect of this game and all the dynamic actions that can take place, just incredible. Like, I don't think you can really find it better in any other game except Cyberpunk, which is it's going to be the best game of all time. So I don't believe I need to say too much more about this game, honestly. If you haven't played it, once again, get off the video and go play these games, right? Go get your mom's credit card, go to the PlayStation Store, not Xbox. You don't do this if you're on Xbox. Xbox isn't a real game console. Go to the PlayStation Store and buy these games and play them. Then come back to this video. You would make me a very happy boy. And we all love happy boys. That sounded so bad. I gotta edit that out. Oh yeah, and Fallout 76, that came out this year.
Again, it just works.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
So, that has been my list of games I got a chance to play and experience in 2018. All of them very, very good experiences. I think 2018 was a really good year for gaming, and I honestly think it's going to get even better than this, especially since we are on the cusp of that next generation hardware. So thank you all for watching the video. I know this one was a lot longer. I had to go over a decent amount of games. Just wanted to give you guys an overview of what these games were like, what the experience was like for me, and why it was a pretty good year in gaming overall. So thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed, leave a comment. Let me know what games had the biggest impact on you this year and some games you're looking forward to in 2019 and even further beyond. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Until next time.